Hello and welcome back to another episode, and I really want to take a moment of your time just to give you a bit of an indication of what's sold today, the reason why behind it, why it's sold, and something that you may come across semi-frequently. I wouldn't say really frequent or not existent at all in regards to custom declarations and all these different things. So quite quickly, I will show you for the 9th time, because I'm trying to capitalize on the dying light right here. You might have heard the thunder as well. There is actually some insane hail going around here at the moment. And the thunderstorm looks like it's coming back. So quite quickly before I get electrocuted, these are Skylander Trap Team yawn traps. So they're about 2 inches big and they're just like a hunk of plastic. They go into the portal and you can capture villains on it. The reason why they're so expensive, and I did sell those two for $1,200 Australian plus postage. If you're from America, probably around about that $750. The UK, just let's split it in the middle, maybe £600. So it's gone off to the Netherlands. They're quite sought after. The simple fact is they were released in Australia. I don't know if I've said that for the 16th time already. But also they became really late in the Trap Team cycle. So by the time they came out, the future game came out, which was Superchargers, and everyone pretty much migrated from Trap Team to that. So there's very limited supply out there. They mainly go to collectors for completionists and all those different things, because they don't function any different to a green trap or a red trap. It's just primarily the difference. It looks like it's been snowing here. I'll show you some pictures later. And quite quickly as well, before we get into tomorrow's video, today's video, whatever we're looking at, these are the Mark Brody Pulp Fiction, Aussie Pulp Fiction books that I showed you last time. I listed those this morning around about 6 a.m. and on the way to work around about 7 a.m. They both sold for $54.99 plus postage. There's a good chance they probably are $50,000 books, but like I was saying, I don't particularly care. I put them in a price point. They're both from 1955. They're both first editions. They are, I suppose, Aussie smut pulp or detective novels. I don't know if you call them a novel if they're pulp, but anyway, that's what it is. So they're on the way. So I do them as individual listings in the sense that, yeah, the buyer will pay $9.99 postage on each one. He did leave a note saying, hey, look, I paid twice, can I have free postage? Or can I have postage back? Which is perfectly fine, which is what I normally do anyway. So hopefully he's got himself a good deal. I did sell some more board games, some Dark Souls expansions. That one, and one of the other ones. That one there. You can't, I can't get it out, but that's it. So this is basically some tile packs. If you are playing tabletop board games, or like Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, Space Hulk, and all those different things, I am learning. These are additional tiles in the sense you play them down, and the characters and the enemies can move around those. So that's, to say, 10 extra tiles. It's Darkroot, Bathston, and Ironkeep tile set. And if you're not a fan of the games, you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. But if you aren't and you don't know anything about board games, they're just an expansion to create a bigger size for the playing area for the board. So that's sold. Yesterday I only had that one sale for that PlayStation 2 game, which sold for $175. But today I'm about $1,700 off the back of those yawn traps. I did have him reach out to me and ask me to, I suppose, I want to say lie, but it mightn't necessarily be the right way of saying it, but he did ask me to falsify the custom declaration. I have heard people say yes, I have heard people say no. I'm staunch in the no camp, in the sense that A, it's illegal, and B, which is probably bigger point for me, is that these things are worth $1,200, right? Well, sold price is $1,200. If I write $100 on the custom declaration, that's what he wants, because the VAT to the Netherlands is about 24%. So he has to pay 24% on the imports duty for these things. He wants $100 written on there, so he doesn't have to pay. So he pays maybe 12, 15 euro opposed to, 200, maybe 150 euro, for example. I did tell him, hey, look, once these items get sent through eBay automatically pre-fills the information into the custom declaration, and I cannot change it. He was quite happy with that. I don't use eBay. That was a white lie. Here I'm having a go at him for lying, and I'm doing the exact same thing. So the customs, like the import duties and customs, are always borne by the seller. Borne by the buyer. A lot of places eBay does scoop up already, so they scoop up for the UK and maybe New Zealand as well. So if you do sell to the UK into New Zealand, I suppose this is probably applicable across all the things. Go into your order history and you will see like a, for example, for the UK, you might see GB dosh IOSS paid or something like that. I normally just copy that and paste it all over the custom declaration, especially when I use Australia Post. So that's probably applicable for a lot of areas. Probably not so much the US, because obviously the US has the GSP program. Very similar for the New Zealand guys as well. Copy that across and put it there. So, like I was saying, he wants me to put down $100. I'm not going to do it. For the simple fact is, like I said before, is that if it goes missing, if it gets lost, if it gets an item not received, all these different things can go wrong. I need to put signature on delivery, because that transaction's over $750. If it goes missing, hypothetically, out of his control, it gets lost between here and the Netherlands. The realistic point comes down to is that I'm only entitled to $100 reimbursement, because that's all I've written on the custom declaration. I can't insure the product for $1,200 and say, hey, it's only worth $100, because that's probably insurance fraud. I'm not really au fait with things like that, but that's what I would take away from it. So as soon as I put $100 in there, not only being illegal and acting illegally, I'm also opening myself up to a myriad of heartache, in the sense, like, because we spoke about last year, you might remember the lava lamp saga. I put it down to $750 because that's what it was worth. It went missing. If I had to put it down as $100 and had it been paid out by insurance, which I wasn't, because I did everything right in accordance with eBay's seller protections, I got the whole $750 back. But like I was saying with this one here, if it goes missing, it doesn't get delivered, if there's any issues, I'm only realistically looking at $100 return on a $1,200 item. The buyer's happy because he'll probably get his full money back for $1,200. I get $100, so I'm the loser in that transaction. So, long way of saying it's short. Do not do it. Do not entertain it when people reach out to you and say, hey, look, on the custom declaration, can you put down $5, $10, $15, whatever it is. Just say, hey, look, I'm not comfortable doing that, or hey, look, I'm not allowed to do that. You don't necessarily need to call them a cheat or a liar, which I have seen other people talk about before. Just tell them blunt, or you can tell them, like, I'm the king of white lies, right? So, you're trying to create a customer experience and say, hey, look, it's really out of my control. Once that sale goes through, eBay locks that figure into the custom declaration that I use, and that's easy. It's not a lie. It is for me, because I actually do enter that money into Australia Post. However, if you are using eBay labels, which I highly recommend that you don't if you're in Australia, that does theoretically, and I'm pretty sure it would, lock you out from changing adjustments from that. So the books are sold, the board games are sold, the yawn traps are sold. I've had a few stuff ups as well. I did have a couple of people reach out to me. I don't know what it is. Those Dungeons and Dragons books, I think I really need to slow down. Like I've said before, I've been doing videos a day, been working full time, doing eBay plus family, all these different things at once. With those Dungeons and Dragons book, I had someone reach out to me and said, hey, you've actually sent me the wrong book, in the sense that I sent them the right book, it was just the wrong edition. I must have had 2 or 3 copies of that one. So he's basically said, hey, look, I'm after the one with the red spine, not the brown spine or black spine, whatever I sent him. So how I got around doing that, can you hear the thunder? It's insane. How I got around doing that, I said, hey, look, that was my fault. I'm happy to wear that. He actually came back to me and said, hey, look, the one that you sent me is actually more expensive than the one I bought. However, that's the edition that I play, so can you help me out here? So I have said him, look, I will send you a new copy of the book. So in the sense that I'll send him the right one, and inside that parcel, I will send him a return label to send the old one back, or the incorrect one back. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that he will or won't send it back. Whatever works out. He sounds legit. He's going to send it back. So I've got no issues there. So like I was saying, is just be very mindful of what you're doing. Slow down. Don't try and bite off more than you can chew. Make sure you keep on top of your items, in the sense that you know where they are, because I always have that problem as well. But if a big one is, and I don't hear it get spoken about a lot, is that custom declaration stuff. Like I said, if you're in the US, or if you're in possibly the UK as well, GSP covers it. But with us in Australia, it's kind of a choose your own adventure, because our preferred carrier of choice is Australia Post. And primarily we put that data in there. So quite quickly wrapping up, I just want to talk about below standard. I know ADHD has fallen below standard. He has done a couple of videos how he's discarding eBay and all those different things. For those new to the channel, I was below standard probably, going on probably 7 years ago now. Like I keep saying a couple of years ago, but it was probably about in 2019, 2018. Primarily when I was selling Lego sets, and I had said this before, I just started a new job, and all my stock was in the process of moving over from Canberra to Perth. So I kind of spun the wheels back on eBay in the sense that I slowed right down. I wasn't really listing things. I let the store go dormant, and I was probably selling, I'd just say 5 or 10 items a month, like very, very, very polar opposite to what I'm doing now and what I was doing previously. So I did list a Jurassic Park set, which was a Indominus Rex set, which was, I think it was retailed for $180, and it was selling for on eBay for $550. As soon as you put it up for $550, it was out the door. So in some probably fever dream or some special moment I had, I listed it for $100. I cancelled that post listing and just said, hey, look, I'm sorry, I've listed it at the wrong price. The buyer was quite happy with that, and it dinged my account. I must have had a couple of other cancellations. Back then, you used to be able to get 3. I'm not too sure what the other cancellations were, maybe because I wasn't really on top of the stock management when it was coming across. One of my powerful super traits or superpowers per se is actually going, you'll be right. It will sort itself out. And needless to say, it didn't sort itself out. So when you fall below standard, I can't stress enough, it is the worst experience ever. I was literally buying those poly bags that I showed you the other day. These ones, maybe for example for $5 each. I was selling them for $5.51 or 55, making 2 cents profit on each poly bag plus postage. This is the time before promoted listings. Fees are about 10%. So I was making 2 or 3 cents for a poly bag to get out of below standard. So the way you got out of below standard then and the way you get out of below standard now is selling your way through, in the sense that you need to do 400 items in a 3-month period. If you do it in a 3-month period, you get reassessed on that 3-monthly period opposed to waiting 12 months. Needless to say, if I'd have been below standard for 12 months, I probably wouldn't be here now talking about eBay because I would have given up because it was too complicated. You literally go to the bottom of the search rankings, or you did back then. What was my saving grace and the way I got around it was actually being the lowest price by about $2. I had no negative feedback. I had no neutrals. It was all positive. So I was primarily banking on those people clicking on the top saying lowest price first. Mine was $2 or $3 cheaper than the market. They were doing that. They were selling. I was making no money. I think I would have been losing money actually, because obviously the price of postage supplies and padded mailers and all those different things. But 3 months later, I became above standard. Then I think it was in the space of a couple of weeks, I went back to top rated seller, and I have never came close to below standard before. If you watch videos on YouTube talking about how glamorous below standard is, or how it's not hard, or how easy it is to get out of below standard, take it from me. I can tell you straight up, it is not easy. It is a slog, and I can guarantee you probably 80% of the people doing it very recreational, like a hobby, or trying to make some extra dollars per a month, aren't going to get out of below standard and quite possibly will lose their account. If you make any cancellations, because every month back then, every month you would get an email saying, hey, look, you're below standard, increase your seller performance or we will suspend your account. And they would give you defined figures in the sense that if you cancelled 1 or 2 more transactions whilst you were in below standard, you'd lose your account. So I was quite on top of everything. And like I said, it was the only thing that really saved me was the Christmas period. I would import the poly bags from overseas, sell them. And if it had been earlier in the year when it was quite a slow period, for Lego, primarily it was around the March, April, it just completely goes dead till about September. I think I fell below standard around about October. So it was that Q4 that really punched me through. And needless to say, I didn't make much of a profit that year. But please, the big takeaway is do not fall below standard. I have spoken about it before. It is not as easy or as glamorous as people make it out to be online. But hey, choose your own adventure. You don't need to listen to me. I don't have the sub count that the other people do. But like I said, I can speak from experience. I can speak from the other side. And it is infinitely, and I know I've harped on this about 16,000 times, it is infinitely harder than you think to get out of below standard. But that's enough for today. I was only going to do like a quick 1 or 2 minute video just to just to show you what sold before I had to pack it off tomorrow's video, but I'll upload this one tonight. Anyway, catch you next time. Bye.